Afternoon, everybody. Consistent with section 747A of the Local Government Act 1993, this meeting of Liverpool Plains Shire Council is being live streamed to Council's website. A webcast of this meeting will be published to Council's website at www.liverpoolplains.newsouthwales.gov.au so that it is available for viewing by members of the public. I would like to welcome everyone to our final council meeting for the end of council term. Once we are finished with the official business of the meeting, I will provide councillors with the opportunity to speak if they wish to. Acknowledgement of country and council prayer. Councillor Wynne.
Today we gather on the land of the Kamilaroi Nation. We therefore need to acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of this land. We also pay our respects to the Aboriginal elders, both past and present, and further extend that respect to other adults who have joined us today. Council prayer. Lord, we ask that you watch over this council, guide us in our deliberations and decisions for the betterment of all the people of our Shire and Australia.
Thanks, Councillor Wynne. Apologies and application for leave of absence by councillors. Nil. Item 3.1, minutes of the council meeting held on the 24th of July 2024. Recommendation that the minutes of the council meeting held on the 24th of July 2024 be received and the recommendations therein be adopted. I have a mover. Councillor Miles, a seconder. Councillor Miles, did you wish to speak to Councillor Miles?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 4, disclosures of interest. Is the General Manager here for the disclosure?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I have a pecuniary interest in item 9.3 and I'll be leaving the chamber.
Thanks, General Manager. If there's no other disclosures of interest, I'll put that motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 5.1, mayoral minute for July 2024. The recommendation, and I would move that the mayoral minute be received. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Wynne. Does anyone wish to speak for or against the minute? Councillor Cullen.
Mr. Mayor, I've got a question in relation to the Milton Parade Tennis Club key handover. As to whether there was any feedback from the users when you hand that key over, because I have had some discussion since in relation to some matters for the clubhouse. I just wondered whether anything was raised with you.
Thanks, Councillor Cullen. No, there was absolutely nothing raised with me. I met with Beverly. I handed the keys to Beverly and the rest of the committee were there. I specifically asked if there was any issues they wished to raise while I was there, and the answer was nil. So I have no questions about that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll just raise a paper with through you.
Thanks, Councillor Cullen. Item 6, Executive Services Report for July 2024. The recommendation that Council receive and note the Executive Service Report for July 2024. Do I have a mover? Councillor Allen, seconder. Councillor Cullen, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Allen?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Oh, sorry, Councillor.
Just quickly, through the Mayor, the meeting with Andrew Hutt, Werris Creek Industrial Precinct, can we just have a little bit of a breakdown of what that was about, please, and also the meeting with the regional New South Wales reps about the same, the Werris Creek Industrial Precinct, just to clarify what they were about. Thank you.
Do you wish to speak?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes. So the meeting on the 16th of the 7th with Andrew Hutton. Andrew Hutton is a consultant who specialises in mine rehabilitation. He is doing some work for Whitehaven Mine. The Mayor and I met with him in the Mayor's office. We then travelled out to site to Whitehaven, met with Whitehaven representatives and saw firsthand the rehabilitation work that was being done out at Whitehaven, and also spoke about the potential use of the Whitehaven land for the Werris Creek Industrial Precinct. The meeting with Ian Smith and his team, Regional New South Wales, on the 18th of July, was also talking about the what they term the endowments of the area there, so the modified landform, the rail network, the power supply, the water supply. What they will be doing is preparing a report for council that council can use for any further grant applications, that council can use in talking with industry to encourage them to set up in the Werris Creek Industrial Precinct, and they will in turn be using the work that they've will be doing with us to look at potential business partners or industries or businesses that may want to set up at Werris Creek.
Through the Mayor again, but how does the rehab of the mine got to do with the industrial precinct, except for the land that we might want? We don't have any say over what happens on the mine site as such, do we? So if Ian Smith and that crew put up, it's about the rehab of the mine, it's not about our industrial precinct, is it?
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so the two are linked. You're correct that Whitehaven have an obligation to rehabilitate the mine in accordance with their consent conditions. The opportunity exists, however, to try and get the highest and best use of that land post-mining. So at the moment, their closure plan indicates revegetation with native vegetation and looking at pasture land and grazing. The idea that we're working with Ian Smith and Regional New South Wales is to see whether there are alternate, higher and better uses for that land. Also, we're looking at the Werris Creek Industrial Precinct is to see with the intermodal there and the current operator whether there are opportunities to expand that operation and look at what could be done there. But you are correct that council doesn't have any land holdings of its own there. Most of the land is privately owned and most of it is owned by Whitehaven. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.2, Resolution Register Update. The recommendation that council receive and note the Resolution Register as at the 5th of August 2024, appended at NHRA, and the Resolution Register for 2022-2023 as appended at NHRB. Do I have a mover? Councillor Knowles, a second. Councillor Khan, did you wish to speak with Councillor Knowles?
No, thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.3, draft, sorry, did someone speak?
I think it was going to say, Mr. Mayor.
Is that door shut? Can we just shut that door? Item 6.3. Item 6.3, the draft council induction and professional development policy. The recommendation that the council adopt the council induction and professional development policy as appended at Annexure A. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, a seconder. Councillor Cudmore, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
I just wanted to propose a small change, which I can't find the slotting here now, but it basically says that councillors must attend the induction days, which isn't always possible. I know that under responsibilities, it also says that it's, you know, it's responsibilities somewhere. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it. That basically it's the councillor's responsibility to try and attend. I just thought that might be adequate, rather than a must or should, wherever it is. I know that there's already a date, if I happen to be re-elected, there's already a date that is dubious for myself. So it's not always possible every single day. I just wanted to make sure it didn't make us fall foul of a policy or something. If I mean, obviously people get sick as well and have got other commitments. So we do our best to attend, but yeah, it seemed very rigid, the word.
General Manager?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So if you look at page, under responsibilities 3.3, as Councillor Lawson said, the Mayor and all councillors must make all reasonable endeavours to attend and participate in induction sessions, blah, blah, blah. And yes, we understand, and I think most people understand that there will be illnesses or there will be conflicts or what have you. And I think reasonable endeavours is fine rather than, and if a councillor was not able to attend a particular day for whatever reason, I'm sure we would make an effort to try and assist and catch up and provide, you know, reading material or whatever it is. So I don't know if there's a need to change anything there, and certainly if a councillor wasn't able to attend a particular day or maybe 2 out of the 20 days or something, that they would fall foul of the policy or anything like that. I think the reasonable endeavours probably covers it.
Councillor Lawson?
Yeah, that part was fine. I can't actually find the wording right now. I might have to get back to it, but there was another spot, I thought it was earlier in the policy that, like I said, was a little bit more rigid the way they worded it, but the one that you just pointed out was fine. That's the part that I thought was adequate to, but yeah, maybe I can come back to you on that.
3.1.
Sorry, I can't see it now.
3.1F.
Oh yes, F. Yes, the mayor and councils, included those re-elected officers, must attend all induction section. That's the bit that caught my eye. Thanks.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so if councillors would prefer that part F could be amended to reflect the all reasonable endeavours which is mentioned elsewhere in the policy, so we'll wordsmith that. We won't try and do it now, but effectively the mayor and councillors, including those re-elected to office, must make all reasonable endeavours to attend all induction sessions. Something along those lines.
Lawson, that's, you're fine with that?
Yeah, thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.4, draft council access to information and interaction with staff policy. Do I have a mover? Councillor Wynne, a seconder. Councillor Cunningham, did you wish to speak to Councillor Wynne?
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Lawson.
Just had a little question. I think that moving from 2 days to 5 days when there's a request for information is fine. But I just wonder, it does say unless it's urgent. I'm just wondering how we determine that urgency. Is that just I guess there's some degree of subjectiveness in that, that's all.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yeah, so I think hard to think of an example. It's usually sort of life or death stuff in terms of urgent, but if there's something that's time bound, for example, where a response would mean that we may miss out on a grant or miss out on a statutory timeline or what have you, we would have to, that would be considered urgent, I guess. But I think based on the sort of normal run-of-the-mill 5 business days, I think should be okay. I think it's also important for councillors when making the request to, and you know, we find it internally as well, to try and set some expectations of response time. So whether it's, look, this is not particularly urgent, get back to me in a week or 2 weeks, or I really need a response by tomorrow because I'm filling out a grant application, or I need a letter of support, like Councillor Moles requested recently. That wasn't urgent, but there was a time frame attached to that had to be advised. So.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.5, Corporate and Community Services Directorate Report for July 2024. The recommendation that Council receive and note the Corporate and Community Services Directorate briefing for July 2024 as detailed in this report. Do I have a mover? Councillor Wynne, a seconder. Councillor Cullen, sorry mate, I didn't see you there. I've got you now. Councillor Cullen, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Wynne?
Yes, thank you. I'll just say, thank God for children's voices, because the high school are booking rehearsals in the magnificent, what do you call it? Royal Theatre. And when they finish their rehearsals, they're probably going to have their concert in there or whatever event they're planning, and that's going to be filled with school children and parents and friends and whatever. And I hope then that everybody realises what an asset it is. At the moment, it's just a white elephant, and I hope the white elephant's dead and buried by the end of it. Thank you.
Councillor Wynne, anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.6, Statement of Investments for July 2024. The recommendation that Council receive and note the Statement of Investments as of the 31st of July 2024 as appended at Annexure A. Do I have a mover? Councillor Cullen, a seconder. Councillor Lawson, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Cullen?
No, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.7, Delivery Program 2022-2026, Half-Year Progress Report, January to June 2024. The recommendation that Council receive and note the Delivery Program Half-Year Progress Report from January 2024 to June 2024 as appended at Annexure A. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, a seconder. Councillor Cudmore, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
Yes. Just a few points that are in the progress report. 2.1.1.1, maintain and register grant-ready capital and operational projects. It says there in the comments that it is proposed to focus on the 2024-2025 operational plan projects and programs and seek to identify and follow up grant funding opportunities for those projects. While I agree with that, I do think that we still need to try and work towards having some grant-ready things so that we're not caught unawares. I know that there is still several infrastructure things around our shire that need to be looked at, and it would be good to have something ready to go should the right type of grant funding come along. So I would still like to see that as something that we do look at. just trying to get this up on the screen. Also, the completion of waste management strategy program is marked on here as being on track and in progress and complete at 50%, but considering that the Willow Tree landfill hasn't actually started to be constructed yet, I'm just wondering why it's at 50% there. I know that we've done the transfer station, so maybe that's coming into it, but being a large part of the project, and it does mention in the next one that it has been delayed, so I think that's more of a delayed one really. That's just a comment. Yeah, that's it for now, thank you.
Gentlemen,
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so I think just Councillor Wilson said there was a comment on the last point in relation to the grants. Yeah, it's something that is a work in progress. I agree that we do need to get better at identifying grants that may be available and not just grants that the council can tap into, but also the community as well. I know when the Mayor and I had a meeting with the president of the chair of the Showground Users Group, they had identified a number of projects there that I suppose at an advanced stage and just really looking for a grant that may come up. So those sorts of things we do need to capitalise on. But I would hope that once we go through that process of identifying the sort of regular grant programs and matching those with operational plan projects, that we then get into that annual cycle, because there are certain grants like the Crown Land, can't remember the acronym now, but the Crown Land grants. Yeah.
Crown Land, Crown Reserve.
Crown Reserve Improvement Funds come up every single year, have a very short time frame. But they're good grants for both council and community to apply for, and being ready for those is important. So yeah, that's still a work in progress. It's something we need to get better at.
Councillor Wilson. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Miles.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to think that this is actually going to go out on our council web. The half-yearly report is very thorough. I agree with Councillor Lawson in regards to the Willow Tree tip, and I also have concerns over the southern access, but they're the only two things. If you go through this half-yearly report and you see what council has actually achieved, I believe the public needs to have their attention drawn to that. I don't think there's one councillor in this room that hasn't been asked, what's the council doing? I never see them here, or they never do this, never do that. We've had an extremely wet season, which has contributed to some of the things we have not been able to achieve. But this document shows how much we have achieved. And I would love to think that it was going to be put out there, and the public have a look at it. Thanks, Mr. Mayor.
General Manager.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. So thank you, Councillor Miles, and yes, it will be published on our website, and we will also, should Council endorse it, we will do some media around it as well, highlighting some of those points.
Anyone else wishing to speak? Councillor Collins.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to support the comments of the two previous council speakers. And also just make comment in relation to 2.1.7.2 customer services. I know that we're very hard working in that area at the moment, but it's certainly something I think that we should be pushing forward with an end date there of Q4. It seems a long time when we get so many requests and various things across the counties that we need to really push forward with resolving our issues around the customer services and things. Other than that, yes, I'd just like to say that I think it's a very good report, and yeah, in favour of it, certainly being published. Yes.
Thanks, Councillor Carr. Did you wish to add anything to that, gentleman?
No.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.8, learn to swim and aerobics, fees and charges. The recommendation that Council 1 place the proposed fees and charges for learn to swim and aqua aerobics classes as listed in Table 1 under issues and commentary on public exhibition for a period of 28 days and adopt the proposed fees as exhibited, subject to no submissions being received. 2, request a further report at the conclusion of the public exhibition period if submissions are received. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, a seconder. Councillor Allen, do you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
I think it's a great initiative there, particularly in regards to the learn to swim for, currently there's, last season, I don't believe there was anything for under 3-year-olds. I know that the swim club takes for the 3-year-olds up for learn to swim. Just wanted to make sure, it does say that it's going to be outside of peak times, which I assume is after school, so I'm assuming this is going to be more directed towards that preschool age thing, because the pool is already the lanes seem to be booked out between the 2 swim clubs as it is, so I'm assuming the learn to swim is going to be during the day for those preschoolers. Just wanted to check that, because obviously we don't want the situation where everyone's on each other's toes and we don't have enough room. Yeah, but otherwise, really great, thank you.
Gentlemen?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, the intent is to run the activities outside, I suppose, the peak times, the busiest times, which is obviously when the swim clubs are using it, because we've got to manage the expectations of the swim clubs, as well as the casual swimmers who like to swim laps, and then obviously the kids who like to cool down on hot days. So really focusing on that outside of those hours. It also gives us the opportunity to, start to establish our own program for when the Grindai pool opens, which will have a dedicated learn to swim space. So, we'll be able to run those, at different times as well.
Councillor Lawson. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.9, local advisory groups. Recommendation that council receive and note the minutes of the Currabubua Local Advisory Group as appended at Annexure A. And 2, resolve that the Mayor on behalf of council writes to all active local advisory group members thanking them for their contribution. Do I have a mover? Councillor Allen, a seconder. Councillor Lawson, do you wish to speak to it, Councillor Allen?
Just to say that the local advisory groups are providing great information back to the council on a regular basis. And it's good to see that the Currabubua and the Greenville ones are continuing on, hopefully with the new election of the new council, that we can continue on and get stronger. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Allen. Is there anyone else wishing? Councillor Lawson?
I understand that the group has to be dissolved at the end of the council term, and I assume that they can restart again after that. I was just wondering if we could streamline that process for them by, if we're writing to them to thank them, whether we could be providing the forms required for the next term. I'm not sure if council has to resolve to allow the local advisory groups before that, but maybe we could be sending out the forms so that they're ready to go to those people that have already been active, and they can pass out to others as well, just so that they can get up and going again as soon as they can. Thanks.
Gentlemen?
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Obviously, as you've indicated, Councillor Lawson, that the groups have dissolved at the end of this council term. It is a decision of the next council as to whether or not that council would want to continue with them. One of the things that we are doing as officers, will be presenting to the new council a review of how the groups operated in the past and making recommendations about what we might do going forward. I certainly take the point around the nomination process and some of the terms of references of that committee were quite thick and quite onerous. I think we certainly can streamline those to make it easy for people who are volunteering to, add value into the community. So that will be one of the things we'll be reviewing from our point of view as officers to assist the community to participate in what are important activities.
Councillor Lawson?
Just further to that then, obviously we might have to do that once the new council terms begun. So I'm just wondering if we do have like a register of their contact details or a point of contact to get those back out. I know unofficially we probably can, but I just thought, we've got something down to contact to say, hey, we've said we're going to have lags again. We'd like to send these forms out. We'll send them out to them.
Through you, Mr Mayor, yes we do. So reconnecting with those existing people won't be too much of a challenge. And we'll obviously do a whole range of things to try and connect with other people within those two sort of townships, as well as the broader other townships that didn't quite establish themselves, as well as Carver and Prema.
Councillor Lawson. Councillor Miles?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm on a similar vein about the Carabubula Advisory Group folding and then restarting. This has been a really good group for quite some time, and one of the original people that chaired the meeting and got them all together now works for this council, and it's credit to that staff member. They have continued on, and I did note that person was in the minutes. I think my concern is that because this group may stand down and then re-nominate, I've noticed the last 3 to 4 months, a lot of the stuff in the meeting is bouncing back and forth between council and the committee. Through nobody's fault, it's to do with getting prices and getting authority to do things. I'm just worried that that might fall through the cracks, and I'd like to think that these last minutes there'll be a list made of what their concerns are, because when the new committee comes on, they'll also have new direction and new ideas. But these don't need to be dropped, is what I'm saying. If they come up at the committee, they're probably things that need to be done out there. So I commend this committee and I wish them well for the future. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
General Manager?
Through you, Mr Mayor, agree wholeheartedly, Councillor Miles. We have gone through the minutes and we do have that sort of list of things that we need to close out as officers, and we will do that through, in the body of the report there. It talks about some advice back to the committee about the electric vehicle grant application. We don't know the outcome of that. When we do, we will advise the committee. So we're very much aware that it's important that they feel that we're listening to them and we're reacting to what they're saying and responding to what they're saying.
Thank you, Mr Frost. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.10, updated agency information guide. Recommendation that council adopt the updated agency information guide as appended at Annexure A. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, seconded. Councillor Claypool, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
No, thank you, Mr.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.11, internment services levy fees and charges. Recommendation that Council 1 amend the 2024-2025 fees and charges to include the new internment services levy charges set by the New South Wales Government, therefore allowing the applicable levy amount to be charged to customers for burial and ash internment services at cemeteries operated by the council. The proposed fees are A, service levy excluding GST, crematorium $41, ash internment $63, burial 156. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, a seconder. Councillor Cullen, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
Obviously, we need to move this motion because these fees have been imposed upon us by the state government, and we have to charge them to not costs that we can carry. However, I'm really disappointed in the way that they've done this. They didn't give us enough notice to put it in our annual fees and charges, which means we haven't been able to charge these fees, and we're already behind, for the burials and cremations that have already occurred this financial year. I don't want to add to anyone's burden, but I just wonder if it's worth a letter to the minister that really we should at the very least not be required to pay the fees that have been incurred up until when we can gazette these fees, so that we can charge them. It's not very fair to small councils. We're only 2 burials over the 50 that would have allowed us to be a small, but we cover quite a large area, a large number of villages to get to that number. So yeah, I also disagree with it being charged altogether, because I've looked through this document and it seems to be all about providing services to Greater Sydney and assurance that there'll be burial plots available in these more populated areas. I can't see anywhere that we actually benefit from this. Maybe it's in there somewhere, I'm not sure, but it seems to me like we're being asked to pay for our city counterparts' problems. So yeah, I don't like the way that they've done it or the fee itself. I'm not sure if it's worth complaining about whether we get anywhere. But yeah, it just seems if they're allowed to just put these fees on us. Let's hope they don't keep doing that. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Lawson. Gentleman.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, in relation to Councillor Lawson's comments about writing to the Minister, we can certainly do that. We don't need a specific resolution. I think the points are valid in terms of the timing of this, particularly not allowing us to put it in our fees and charges and consult effectively with the community as we do with all the other fees and charges, but also, as Councillor Lawson has pointed out, the timing of that has meant that we've had to incur those costs and absorb them. So certainly pass that on. I wouldn't hold my breath and would get any response probably, but I think we can at least try and make the point.
Councillor Lawson. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.12, Infrastructure and Environmental Services Directorate Report for July 2024. The recommendation that Council receive and make the Infrastructure and Environmental Services Directorate Report for the month of July 2024. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lawson, seconded Councillor Cutmore. Do you wish to speak to it, Councillor Lawson?
I was just wondering if there was any further update on the funding variation for the Gurdon Street Bridge since this report was done. And also, I didn't quite understand under the Yarra Creek Bridge. It says contractor submissions have been assessed and notified of the outcome, but I thought this was just in design stage, and then it goes on to say tender for the design and construction of the bridge works will be called for following these reports completion. So I'm not sure what the submissions were before that. Thanks.
Gentlemen.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, so we have actually had notification of the variation for Gurdon Street Bridge in the time since this report was written. We were successful in getting that variation, so we've signed that off and sent that back to the state government. So that has covered off what we needed to cover with that project. Regarding the Yarra Creek Bridge, we saw quotes for the 3 technical studies being review environmental factors, geotechnical and hydrology, and that's what it's referring to when we've gone through those submissions and responded to the contractors of the outcome.
Thank you, and that's really good news about the funding as well for the Gurdon Street Bridge. Thanks.
Councillor Lawson, anyone else? Councillor Lyons?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm hoping this question is going to come under local roads and community infrastructure. I don't always know what the number of the roads are, but it says 14 Road or something. I'm wondering about the Gap Road that was closed for works. And I thought we were going to do some roadworks as well while it was closed. And I believe there's a further issue there that was sent out to us, and I don't know how much can or cannot be said. But I suppose what I'm really asking is, what sort of timeframe are we looking at for this road to now be closed, as initially it was just for ARTC work? Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Gentleman?
Through you, Mr Mayor, so Gap Road was closed for the construction of a new rail over the bridge that's through there, so that was through ARTC with John Holland being their contractor. As a result of the rain we've had in recent times, there was a bit of a flood event through there on the 5th of August, if I remember the dates correctly, which, due to their work, the water got re-diverted through and has damaged the road. They are repairing it. They have sent us the design for it. My team are currently reviewing the design. In terms of how long it will remain closed for, it's still a little bit up in the air, but the information is it's about a 2-3 week construction time. My team is still reviewing the designs that they've sent through late last week. So they haven't got the go ahead yet to do the construction, but it is for ARTC and John Holland to repair that damage. I don't recall any roadworks being planned there from a council perspective during that same closure.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. Thanks, Mr Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against? Councillor Cudden?
Yeah, this has been taken off the post. Can we have an update on what's happening on the swinging bridge over in the Oval, please?
General Manager?
Through Mr Mayor, so we're currently getting some hydrology work undertaken for that bridge. So one of the key things that's popped up through the initial scoping and development of the design for that is having a cable stayed bridge like what was there to sustain a flood impact isn't plausible. So we need to look at what the flood level is going to be there, whether we can potentially lift the bridge above that, and if we cannot, then we need to look at what alternate options we have for it. So there's currently some hydrology work being done to determine the flooding impact through that area.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 6.13, Town Water Supply Status. The recommendation that Council receive and note the water supply status report. Do I have a mover? Councillor Allen, the seconder. Councillor Cullen, did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Allen?
No, thank you, Mr Mayor.
Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 8.1, notice of motion, gym equipment for Spring Ridge. The recommendation that Council 1 resolve that the equipment purchased using funds from the Empowering Our Communities and Stronger Country Communities funds grants for the Spring Ridge fitness classes continue to be kept and stored at the Spring Ridge Community Hall for use by the Spring Ridge community, and a suitable memorandum of understanding is entered into to ensure A, the equipment is only used under the supervision of qualified fitness instructors, and B, all gym and fitness programs are administered by or approved by Liverpool Plains Shire Council, and C, the equipment remains the property of the Liverpool Plains Shire Council, and D, gym and fitness activities do not take place in the identified area of the hall in which the flooring is not adequate for high impact activities. Do I have a mover? Councillor Cudmore, seconded Councillor Allen. Did you wish to speak to it, Councillor Cudmore?
No, just decided to commend Councillor Lawson on the resolution, and I just think it makes common sense. And the money that was resolved through a community grant that was done by the community out there. The gym equipment should stay with them until they don't further require it. But I'd just like to thank Councillor Lawson for the work she did. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Cullen. Anyone else wishing to speak for Councillor Owen?
Just to reiterate what Councillor Cudmore has said, Deputy Mayor Cudmore, sorry. And also congratulate Councillor Lawson on a well thought out motion. And to say that, yeah, it's providing a benefit to the community, so there is no need to move it. Make sure that it stays that community for the benefit of the community. Thanks.
Councillor Owen. Anyone else wishing to speak for or against the motion? If not, I'll put the motion. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 9, confidential matters. Recommendation that Council considers the confidential report listed below in a meeting closed to the public in accordance with section 10A bracket 2 of the Local Government Act 1993. 9.1. REG PRO 192425, provision of road resurfacing. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 10A bracketed 2 bracketed D bracketed I of the Local Government Act, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with information that would, if disclosed, confer a commercial advantage on a competitor of the Council. 9.2 RFT 091-2024, design and construction of Caribou water main replacements. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 10A bracketed 2 bracketed D bracketed I of the Local Government Act, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, prejudice the commercial position of the person who supplied it. 9.3, the mayoral minute from the General Manager's performance review. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 10A bracketed 2 bracketed A of the Local Government Act, and the Council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would on balance be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with personal matters concerning particular individuals other than councillors. Do I have a mover? Councillor Cullen, a seconder. Councillor Allen. Those in favour? Those against? Carried. Item 9, confidential matters. Recommendation that council considers the confidential reports, bracketed S, listed below in a meeting closed to the public in accordance with section 10A, bracketed 2 of the Local Government Act 1993. 9.1 REG PRO 192425, provision of road resurfacing. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 10A, bracketed 2, bracketed D, bracketed I of the Local Government Act, and the council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with information that would, if disclosed, confer a commercial advantage on a competitor of the council. Item 9.2 RFT 091-2024, design and construction of grid-eye water main replacements. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 10A, bracketed 2, bracketed D, bracketed I of the Local Government Act, and the council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with commercial information of a confidential nature that would, if disclosed, prejudice the commercial position of the person who supplied it. 9.3 General Manager's Performance Review. This matter is considered to be confidential under section 10A, bracketed 2, bracketed A of the Local Government Act, and the council is satisfied that discussion of this matter in an open meeting would, on balance, be contrary to the public interest, as it deals with personal matters concerning particular individuals other than councillors. The council resolved on item 9.1, approved tenders received from Laurel Asphalt, Countrywide Asphalt, Fulton Hogan, Roadwork Industries for the provision of roadway services for the period of the 1st of October 2024 to the 30th of September 2026. Approve the provision of a 12-month extension of tender number REG PRO 052425. This was resolved 7-4 and nil against. Item 9.2 RFT 091-2024, design and construction of grid-eye water main replacement. Recommendation: award the contract for tender 091-2024, design and construction of grid-eye water main replacements to Keen Civil and Construction Proprietary Limited for the value of $632,901.50 inclusive of GST. This was resolved 7-4 and nil against. Item 9.3, Mayoral Minute, General Manager's Performance Review. Recommendation that council receive and endorse the Review Committee's General Manager annual performance appraisal as assessed as more than satisfactory. 2, agree to the Review Committee's recommendation to award a performance-based increase of $20,000 of the General Manager's total remuneration package as per the relevant council resolution, and that council resolved at its ordinary meeting of council on the 22nd of March 2023, resolution 2023/45. 3, endorse the KPIs for part 2 of the GM's 2024-25 performance agreement. This was resolved 7-4 and nil against. Can I get a recommendation now to move out of closed council? Councillor Cutmore? Oh, we're already out. Sorry. Okay. We'll just close down. Being no further business, no, we've got a couple more confidential matters. The recommendation, 9.1. We're done. Being no further business, we'll call the meeting closed. 3:42.